it's good. We had the house, and Charles came, and they moved out of the flat, and they moved in the house, and they started to do a lot. They put in, the house was like a very unmodern, and the wood was trembling under your feet, but they straight away, they edge-to-edge carpet, and they had done a lot. They spent maybe twice as much as the house cost, because the garden was nothing. It was black cotton soil, a grass didn't even grow. And Charles has done everything. Charles and Mariam have made from the house a paradise. But I was terribly unhappy because I lost them. They were so good to me when Abraham died, and they stayed in flat number 9. They never had lunch or dinner by themselves. They come down to the downstairs, and in the evening they sat with me, finished dinner, watched television, and then went to sleep. They used to have their shower, come in the dressing gown, have food, and then go to sleep at 10, 10:30 when I went to sleep. For a year it was like that, till I sort of cooled up a little bit and I could open my eyes. I was frightened for months to go out in the street here. Anyway, they were wonderful. And then Eliana came, and Eliana started to grow up, and I was mad about her. And then suddenly we bought their house, and they go away, and I remained by myself. I thought my world is finished. I was so upset and so broken-hearted. I took a ticket, went to Sam to cry. Sam said, but my God, what do you want? They are around the corner. They can come to you, you can go to them. I said, but it's not the same. I am working in the hotel, so I had them all the time. So I cannot run to them. Anyway, I got over it. We couldn't move in together. I wouldn't agree to be in a room. I remained upstairs, they went away. Slowly everything settled down, and everything was all right. Liana was growing up. Daniel came. Daniel had bended legs like this round up. He walked like that. I thought he will never have straight legs. Today is like a tree. And then Ethan came. And then, of course, the tragedy that Marian died. But Charles was wonderful. Charles has done to the hotel. If not for Charles, the hotel wouldn't be hotel. And if not for me, the rooms wouldn't be rooms. I made the curtains, I made the carpets, I made the sheets, the pillowcases, the covers, everything. I was going from room to room, cutting, making, mending, everything, running to Mombasa. And in the meantime, when I was in Mombasa, I read in the paper that they sell in Yale plots. And you have to pay only 10%. So I run and I ring up, and it appears that the person knows me, the manager, and I go to him and he shows me on the map that it's only 1,500 pounds an acre of land. Mm-hmm. And I'm so taken in that I wanted the contract in my hand. And I asked Charles on the phone. I don't do anything without Charles. Until now, nothing I've done without Charles. But this time Charles says no. He says it's not right. We will only have more work. And what for do you need it? You have the hotel. I said, Charles, it's a plot near the sea. If you will not have this now, you will never get it again. This is a chance for life. He wasn't happy. But as it was not much money, and as I had money, I paid in and I had the plot. Then I started to build. He was also not happy. He knew the work will fall on him. But I thought also it's a wonderful thing. If we come, the family comes on Christmas. Your mother used to come, you used to come. We all stayed in the Manor Hotel, exactly Christmas, when you wait a whole year to have business. We took a whole floor. From 42 till 49, it was ours. Because there were 3 families, 4 families with me. So I said, we can be on the sea, and that can be rented. So it's a good idea. Anyway, Charles helped me a lot with arranging and finishing. We finished the hotel. Morris came for a holiday. Your mommy came. Morris came, your mommy came. I was there. Marianne came. We were in that big house. It was something marvelous. We took 2 men from here. They took, you don't remember because you were small. Yeah. But I remember that Alex said that she'll put on a show. And I was lying in bed. Early morning you got up all. And she started to build up a show. And it was very hot in my room, and I came on the veranda. And I was lying and resting a little bit. And Eliana came over to me, or somebody else, I don't remember. Granny, we need to play here. We have to put up sheets, and we have to rehearsal. I was very tired. I said, I want to lie down. I'm tired. And Alex came, and she said, leave my poor granny alone. Come, let us play downstairs. Only Alex did it. Leave my poor granny alone, she said. Come, let us play downstairs. They went downstairs all to play. And it was most wonderful. The children together, you get on together, you play together, and we ate a lot of food from the Manor Hotel. We brought everything. It was a most wonderful holiday. And then everybody went away. Then it started to be too small, the house. So Morris one time came, we started to be more demanding. And Charles took for him 2 hotel rooms in the next is the Mombasa Beach Hotel. And it cost about £1,000. And I said, my God, Charles, why? We can build up another flat. Charles wasn't very keen, but Morris said, oh yes, Mama, build. So I called in a contractor. Not first I called in the engineer, the architect, and the architect made me the plan, and a very good architect, May and Company. And he built up upstairs a beautiful flat of 2 bedrooms, 2 separate bedrooms, a sitting room, a dining room, 3 verandas, right on the sea. It was like in a boat. Cool, lovely. But underneath it was on stilts, and underneath for the children to play and a store. So we had already, it wasn't so tight now, so we had the house and we had this, so we didn't need to take in a hotel a room. Then, the girls started to grow bigger, and they went for a dance on Christmas, and they started to be sorry for the Africans and dance with them. And a few Africans took advantage and told them they're very poor and they haven't got from what to live. And Alex and Gabi went to talk to them on the veranda. Somehow Morris didn't like it at all. And he said, he's not coming anymore. He's frightened the girls will get too friendly with the local boy. So he didn't come anymore, but we used to go for the holidays. So that finished at that. Then I decided the children have grown up. Mariam was still alive. She didn't like that. I said, Mariam, I'm going to make another flat underneath where the children are playing. They are growing up. Another flat will give me an income. It's only to build in and do inside, but the wall is, the down is there, the veranda is up, the ceiling you have. So you have to just fill it in. She wasn't happy about it, but I decided I'm doing it, and it cost, I think, 10,000, 15,000 pounds, and we built up the other flat. That's only 3 years ago. No, Mariam was alive when I built that. Yeah, Mariam was alive. We went still for a few years together, and then, of course, when Mariam died, the children used to come from England, and Charles and me, and we were very happy together. What else can I tell you? That Charles gave his life for the hotel. Charles has been doing everything he had on his shoulders. Mariam was good in the house and with the children. She was a very good mother. She looked after them well. She gave them food in time. Everything was all right, but the boys grew up and they started to fight with each other terribly. Eliana grew up, they went all to school, and Charles was day and night working in the hotel. And everywhere we went together. Did we go for dinner? We went together. Did we go for a Friday night? We went together. Did we invite? One Friday she had, one Friday I had. It was arranged. She said, then I said, Marian, can I help you? Can I give you some fish? No. If I make my Friday, I make. You make your own. So she made one Friday, I made the other Friday. She made one Friday, I the other Friday. It went on like this very well, and till the day when we lost her. That was a terrible shock, because Charles loved her. They were a very happy couple, and lovely children, and a lovely home. And she did her job. She painted, she sculptured. She wasn't lazy. She was always doing something. And Charles was doing the hotel, and I was working very hard. I must tell you, I felt that Abraham died, so I have to be the father and I have to be the grandmother. And something else I said again, 65 it is. Abraham died in 63. Charles came to start the business in 63. And I think we were talking about Daniel, that he has another year to finish.
No, you
What else would you want to know?
You finished off saying that you felt a bit guilty when Abram died, and that you wanted to be the mother and the father, the grandmother and the granddad.
No, not guilty, but I was working so hard and never thought of myself, because I felt that Abraham died, so the responsibility is now mine. I have to be the grandmother and the grandfather.
Right.
Yeah. And for Kayla, I was very worried, because Israel is a hard country, and I thought that I would like her to have an easier life. But in Israel, it wasn't easy. It was hard. For Kayla to study, it was hard, the accommodation to get. But she was happy. When she married, it was also not easy. The beginning was good, but later on, when they moved her there and the government changed, and Daddy was working for Cloud, then it was much harder for Kayla. But what I wanted to tell you, you wanted to know, what did you say?
When last you wanted to tell us about
Yeah,
South Africa, you spent some time with
I
with our
spent
family.
with your family, and I was very happy. First of all, Daddy was very nice to me, and I noticed that Daddy is working very, very hard. He used to get up early morning. When I got up, he was gone long ago. He was all the day in that factory, never came for lunch. He lived with a biscuit and a cup of tea. In the evening when he came, he had dinner and he had to run to the accountant. He really was working very, very hard. And Kayla was sitting day after day with me to account how much they have to pay out on Friday, the workers. One worker on Monday, he worked 6 hours and 15 minutes. Have you ever had to pay for 15 minutes? How can you pay for 15 minutes? I said, but Kayla, you give a system, they work till the 7 hours, and no more. They come and they say they work, they have a clock. They clocked for 7 hours and 15 minutes. They did something like this, and the 15 minutes was over. And for that she had to pay. And we were sitting till 12 o'clock in the night and working out for 65 people. One worked 20 minutes, one 25 minutes, one 30 minutes. You had to work out how much it is for the 30 minutes. So Kayla was working hard like a slave. Your daddy was working very hard. And in the end, I didn't see that they have money in the hand. I could saw that it was tight, very tight. I was sorry for them. And Yael didn't have company. She came from school. She sat down on the floor. Yael eats very little. She doesn't want to become fat. So she eats so little that every time I looked at her, my heart was bleeding. I thought, how can a child live just with nothing? I want to give her this, I want to give her that. Thank you, Granny, thank you, Granny. I'm not hungry. But she's a lovely child. She's nice, she's delicate. She's very pretty, you know. Yael is a very pretty child. And she was sitting on the floor and working very hard with the heart. That's what she liked, hard.
Art.
Yes, yeah.
Painting.
Painting. She was sitting till 12 o'clock in the night, and no fun. She was already, when I was there, 17 years a girl. She wants to go, and she wants to go with boys, she wants to talk, she wants to dance, she wants to sing. Nothing, no dancing, no singing, no going with friends, sitting in the house, or she watched television, or she was on the floor doing hard. And day in, day night, day in, day in, I was sorry for that child. But Mommy tells me on the phone now that because she was doing hard, she has now in a company with a lot of art students, and apparently she made more friends with them, and they are very nice, and they go together, and she thinks that it's completely different now. So I'm very glad. And I'm glad that you tell me that Daddy thinks in a few years' time he'll be able to sell the factory and be able to relax, and Mommy should relax and be more with your children, because he hasn't got the time to do anything for you. He runs all the time. And I'm terribly glad, Avi, I think you have done the most wonderful thing, that you came and you wanted to film, how would I say, to film my life history. And my life is a very different one that yours or somebody else's, because I lived through in Poland from 1905 when I was born. There were so many things when I was 10 years old. I was already, we had already run away. The war broke out in 1914. I was only 9 years old. There was a war straight away. We ran to Russia. We were in Russia. I lost my father. I lost a sister. There were so many changes, so much sorrows. We came back to Poland. Again, it was sorrows. What can I tell you? My time where I went through is something that happens once in 100 years.
1,000 years.
Or maybe in 1,000 years. Look how many wars. 1914 a war, the revolution in 1918. The Bolsheviks came up and wanted to kill us. We had to run away to Poland. We came from Poland, Germany, Germans were there. They didn't want to give us food. We had to go and schlep ourselves to villages to change material for potatoes, material for flour, for milk, for a bit of butter. There was nothing to eat. It went on like this for a longer time till they ran away. It broke out a revolution in Germany. Then the Russians came back. The Russians fought again. The Russians fought again with Germany, again. And then the Polanders stood up, and the Russians lost the war on the book in Warsaw. And the Polanders stood up and they said, Nasza Polska. We have been, we've been for a long under the yoke, occupied. We want now Poland back. And it was the Versailles, I think it was like that. It was the Versailles committee, and it was the decision that Poland should get Poland back. So we became Polanders. Suddenly we became Polanders. We don't know Polish. We don't know anything about Poland. We became Polanders. So I am already, in 1918, I am already 13 years old. I don't know one word how to write in Polish. What am I to do? You can't go back to school. You have to have private lessons. It was hard. It was that life that we went through, and then it was a terrible anti-Semitism broke out in Poland. Then it was a time that we had a president, a Polish one, that we called him Grabski. He was putting such a lot of taxes on the people that nobody could pay, so he was going with wagons and collected the things for the taxes, and we called them grabbing, Grabski. That was, I don't remember the year, but it was very difficult. Sam sent us money every now and again. When I was married with Abram, it was a time, I remember like today, we had money for a quarter pound of sugar. For a quarter pound, not a kilo. I was already pregnant with Morris. In the night, I used to be very hungry. So I find old pieces of bread. I used to have the old pieces of bread and drink water. And I think I felt that it's very tasty. But that was only in the house. There was nothing more. It was later on, it became better. Abraham brought in oil, and he made another business. Morris was born. It was hard, but later we built up a very big business. And it was like a departmental store. We had a lot of everything. And then we had to run. because I was sure that Abraham will be arrested, because the anti-Semitism was so big that it was a style like this in Poland. If, if the person that didn't like you, and he was a Pole, and he went to the police and he said that you said that the Polish people are swines, you also had to take that. They came and arrested you. You were in jail. You know that Ruth's father, David, was in jail. I didn't have the time to tell you. He was in jail, and we took him out on with money, and he came to me and he said, "You have to help me." And Abraham was already in Johannesburg with Sam, and I gave him money, and he made a false wedding with a woman that was going to Israel. She had the paper. She could marry him and take him on her paper. And he ran away. He had to have the court case, but they let him out on money. He ran away. Then I was called to the procureur that I gave him money and he was with me. Very easy. I should say very easy. And did I give him money? I said, no, I didn't give him money. Nobody saw that I gave him money. But that was a terrible thing. I cannot explain you in what danger I was then. And that it was already in South Africa. And I remained with the children, and I told you on the cassette, the anti-Semitism was very great, and I thought they will kill me, the children. So that's what I went through, and Abraham went through, and the coming here, and how the first year was difficult, very difficult. But Abraham was terribly clever, and he was a genius. And after a few years, I told you on the cassette, we swam out. And he bought this and he bought that, everything on mortgages. He could buy a house with 200 pounds, and he would make a mortgage. So it's a great chance for you to know all these things. But it's wonderful that you wanted to do that. And I'm very grateful to you. Because if not for you, it wouldn't be marked off on the cassette. The children wouldn't know. Your mother wouldn't know. And I wouldn't sort of relieve everything and be proud that I can feel going through such a lot of episodes, I'm still okay. It's wonderful. So I will miss you terribly. We'll have to be on writing terms. I will give you a big pad to write. I will give you envelopes that you shouldn't have to worry to run out and buy the things. And I want you to write to me at least every month. Will you do that?
Definitely.
You will. And how did you enjoy to be here?
Well, Granny, I'd like to thank you. You didn't let me say anything at the beginning of the tape, so I'm going to say something now. I want to thank you for spending so many hours with me here, taping everything, and coming out of your office to work through the day on these tapes and cassettes.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. If you are the instigator, if you wouldn't start, I wouldn't be able to come out, and it would be a dead thing. And now it's alive. You put something that it hasn't been done. I'm now 87. It hasn't been done till today. Till you started. How long is it that you started?
How?
To tape. It's maybe only 4 days.
Well, a week, nearly a week.
A week. So you've done a marvelous job. Thank you very much, my darling. I love you.
Granny, as I said, thank you for spending so much of your time with me and being so good to me while while I'm here on my way to Israel.
Yeah.
Your stories have always interested me,
Yes. Yes.
but especially the stories about Abram and your life.
Abraham was a wonderful man. Abraham loved his grandchildren. Ruthie had the mazel. Ruth's children, we went for a wedding to some of, no, it wasn't a wedding, I think it was a bar mitzvah of one of Ruth's sons.
Mm-hmm.
The one son that she had. It was a bar mitzvah, and I remember like today, he was dancing with the little ones,
Mm-hmm.
and he was so happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
He has such a lot of warmth in himself. The family is such a big thing for him. It was for him. You have no idea. He brought out his brother from Lodz, the one that went to be a rabbi in Rhodesia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was 29 years a rabbi in Rhodesia. His brother, Yankee Fiel.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought him out from Lodz. I don't know whether many people have done things like that. And Yankee Fiel lived in our house here in Nairobi, and he prepared everything for him. He lived with us maybe half a year till he found a place in Rhodesia to be a rabbi in Livingstone.
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham gave him the money to go to Livingstone, helped him to establish himself, and he was there a rabbi for 29 solid years.
Mm-hmm.
That you didn't know,
I
maybe.
knew that. I knew that.
You knew, and you know that he was a very intelligent man. He was writing in every chronicle about the Talmud and about God knows what. Yankee Fiel was a very, very highly educated man.
Well, Granny, I think
Yeah.
that maybe through your stories of Abram, I kind of know a little bit about him.
Exactly.
I think had he lived
Oh.
to this day, I think we would have been great friends.
Oh,
Somehow,
it's a pity that Abraham is not alive. He would have had a lot of pleasure. He would have loved you. For him, a grandchild was life.
and I would have very much loved to have met him and
Yeah,
spoken to him.
yeah, yeah.
And
Well, you will be in the place where He lies in Jerusalem, in a very beautiful place. Funnily enough, you know, that when we came on holiday, he took his brother and he told him, not more and not less, if I die, because at that time he was already at 3 attacks, I want to lie in Israel. So remember that I want to lie in Israel, come to look for a grave for me. Suddenly my husband goes away from Tel Aviv and goes with David to Jerusalem. And I find out for what did he go? To look for a grave. Because the brother promised him if he'll die, wherever he will die, he'll bring him back to Israel, to be buried in Israel. So he comes on Friday. Kayla's wedding has to be in 10 days' time. He died on October. No, Kayla's wedding was on October, and he died a month before. Only 1 month before. He brought himself and he died. He said he wants to lie in Israel. He's lying in Israel. He is buried in Israel on the Aram Nocha. And that was, I was so cross, I was so excited. I said, you come with me for a holiday, you run to look for a grave? Well, that was everybody, you know, the Lebanons said that he's a tzaddik. Because only a tzaddik can die so quick. He didn't take 20 minutes. He said, quickly a doctor, an ambulance, I'm dying. And he died on my hand. He didn't take 20 minutes. Kayla ran to take ring to Ellie, he should run and bring a doctor. And when she came in back, he wasn't alive. The doctor came, he said It's finished. I was terribly um, shouting, and how could you do like this to me? You take him to the hospital, and I, why isn't in the hospital? He said, my dear girl, you can't do anything. He had a clot of blood that went in a few seconds, it doesn't come to the head. He died. What do you want? We couldn't have done anything, he said, if he would be in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been the same. So nobody could do anything. But it's a terrible shame because he didn't have the pleasure to see Kayla married.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't have, Kayla wouldn't have been married if the rabbi wouldn't insist that it is in the Jewish law. If it's 10 days before the wedding, we have
don't
no
cancel
right
it.
to cancel. That is the Jewish law. Can you imagine how we went to that wedding? I don't want even to talk because it'll excite me for weeks. So that is that, my darling. Thank you 1,000 times again. It was a pleasure to have you. And we will soon, please God, see each other in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that you can arrange yourself in a good kibbutz,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be successful in the army. It'll definitely not be for you a easy period from South Africa to the army. I think is a very it's a very
It's a jump, but we'll
it's a
manage.
terrible jump, and it's a different situation.
Mm-hmm.
Here you're on a flat, you go to university. It's different. Here you're in the army. What did they do with you in the beginning?
Mm-hmm. They'll make me run, I'm sure.
They'll make you run. And when it's cold and when it's raining. But God will help. I believe that it does everybody good. The army does everybody good. And this is your will. I wanted that you should make a master. Even in Israel. Would be nice. I would have been very happy if, for instance, from here you are going to university and you're going to make yourself a master. And later you give the army.
Well, we'll see how it goes, Egbert.
Exactly, you will see. You will see how it goes. But if you go in the army, you can't step out. No. So let us wish you a lot of luck and all the best. And you should write to us good letters. And every time you'll be able to go away, you will come to your Grammy. And God should keep me for another few years, that I should be able to see you happy, see Ayel happy, see Mommy in a better position,
Yeah.
See Daddy that he has something for all his work. See Ayel. What do you think will be with Ayel? You think when she finishes next year she'll come to Israel?
This year, I hope so.
Not this year.
This year she's finishing.
No, you're mistaken. This year she's finishing. You mean in 93 she's finishing?
School?
She is now having her matric.
Mm-hmm.
So next year, what do you think?
In Jerusalem.
To study in Jerusalem?
Maybe, I don't know. I hope she comes back to Israel and we'll be together again, the three of us. I think she'll have a good time. I think it's the best idea.
I think so too. I think she doesn't have to join the army, no. She has, when she graduates and she has a bit of fun, she has to go and study in Jerusalem.
Good.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Please God. So all the best.
Well,
And Charles has been wonderful to you. He
Yes.
has been a wonderful uncle. He couldn't be better. And with Liat, with Eliana, you got on well, and with Mark, you got on well, and with 8 on well, and it was a successful time.
And a very enjoyable
An
time.
enjoyable holiday for you.
And I hope these folks have enjoyed the videos.
Yeah.
And
I would like to see the piece that James spoke a few words.
good, so let's go watch.
Come, and we'll take this. So is it finished
Yeah,
now?
I've got it there. Come, Greg.
Yeah? Lovely. So now we finish. And it's 10:30. Yes.
1976,
Mm-hmm.
and I started 76 until now,
Mm-hmm.
1993.
Right. Did you start to work? Did you start working in the hotel first, or
No, we started the work.
right?
Yeah.
And how has it been?
I do very well. I'm very happy
Mhm.
for job, and I like him like mother.
Yeah.
He helped me very much, and I do very well. The job, they help me, and Mr. Charles and Mr. Morris always will help me. Mr. Morris will help me for medicine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy to get to him. I'm very happy really, through my life.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Mr. Morris
Mm-hmm.
and Mr. Charles, very happy. When we got to travel to us to him, they helped me very much indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
very happy. I do very happy. When mother, when the Szlapak is sick, I take care for
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
him very much
Mm-hmm.
indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And I like him,
Mm-hmm.
I like him very well.
Yeah.
And I think we're happy when still to him for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The God will help him and help me to continue together
Right.
with the job. I'm very happy to stay together because we do job like they help me and Ms. Szlapak will help me then like tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
not like to improve
Mm-hmm.
to him, but like it teach me like my like children,
Mm-hmm.
and like to help him like tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I always we help him for the medicine. Always remember very well. We take it careful for him. We cannot not forget to help him medicine anytime, every large time, night time, in the morning. Always we take careful
Mm-hmm.
for medicine because Mr. Szlapak sometimes forgot the medicine, but mine will take careful, make memory
Right. Right.
for my head.
Right.
You cannot forget because I like him very much.
Tell me, James, you've been here since '76.
Yeah,
So you remember me as a little kid, huh?
yeah, I remember you very well, and remember you were very kid. We come to 26.
Mm-hmm.
Remember you very well.
And every year I used to come
Yeah,
to Kenya,
yeah, I remember you.
and
very
you
well.
saw me every year a
Every
bit
year,
a bit taller.
We come big and come big, and now very gentleman.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I like you very much, and your mother sometimes when you came, you give me gift for chat. Always you remember him very much. I'm very happy to him.
Good.
Yeah, and say, always God will help Mr. Szlapak for still for a long time.
Good.
Yeah.
And God bless you.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.